Welcome to the most important podcast you are listening to right now. The A Show with April Hunter and Aron Stevens.
But then if you look all the way on the East Coast, the East Coast and then West Coast, it's all right.
There's a front coming in.
Yeah. And we're totally live. They totally just caught us doing that. Hello to everyone. We're just in the discussion because we learned how to, I learned that everything is actually opposite on camera. So I'm like, oh, this is what it's like to be a weather reporter. And it's funny because East is west, west is east, but north and south are still the same. But you have to be careful because if you want to go to the northeast, you actually have to go to the northwest, and the northwest is the northeast. And they must, if they get lost driving, weather reporters must always be, because they're thinking the directions are opposite. So if someone's like, "Oh, make a right," they must be making lefts, and what a profession to be in.
I don't know. I'm like totally distracted with this left-right thing. I'm like, this is my right side, but it looks like my left side.
Yeah.
It's weird to me. And you say we've learned. I would argue that. I don't think we've learned. I think we're coming to accept the 5 stages of mourning are left and right. So we're on the acceptance part, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Very good.
So,
Excellent.
So speaking of that, we had our first live appearance. We both had our first live appearances this past weekend. For the first time, I don't know about you, but it's like a year and a half for me. So I took my booking last minute for a reason. It just came up. I was doing Tampa Bay Screams, which is a horror con, which I love doing horror cons. And I had a blast. It was simultaneously awesome and weird because everybody had to wear masks. And it's kind of weird, especially like for me, I'm used to munching all day long, and you couldn't do that with a mask.
Oh yeah, and don't they? But it's a horror convention. Doesn't everyone have masks on?
Right? Yeah, I know. But it was fun.
With those, if you didn't want to wear a mask, you could dress up as the Scream person, and because of the nature of the mask, no one would know if you had an actual Rona mask on.
That's true. And some people did. Sorry, I'm adjusting my camera there. Okay, here we go. I feel like we missed a week, and I feel like I'm out of practice already.
We did miss a week. Yes, that was my fault. I'm sorry. I was in Atlanta.
Yeah, and then we'll get to that. So I wanted to thank people who came out, especially because there wasn't a whole lot of warning on that, to Tampa Bay Screams. And I also wanted to give a shout out to, I believe, I might be getting this wrong, but I believe his name is Alejandro, who does watch our shows, and I believe he watches us live because we got our first feedback from a live person on the show. And he said he really enjoyed the show. I know. It's like when you get your first feedback, it's like proof that people are listening. And he said he really connected to our second episode of dating. And thank you, Alejandro. We love getting feedback and comments, and we still can't access our Patreon comments, but our producer does read them to us at the end of our episode. So hang in there and we will address them. Mm-hmm. So Aron had a much more interesting weekend. You were at a
horror convention. That's as interesting as it gets. I mean,
But you had a much more complex weekend with NWA in Atlanta. So tell us how that went.
Well, first of all, I just want to publicly state that I have a cracked rib, and I'm not going to name names, but this person was not exactly a masters of dropping elbows. But I can assure you, I love this person very, very much. So I'm not mad, but I was also punched in the face, and it was. Honestly, it was.
In the face?
What's that?
How many times were you punched in the face?
Multiple, but between 4 and 5, or no, 3 and 5. I lost count.
And what was your reaction to that?
I just went, "You realize you've just punched me in the face for real?" And I said it just like that. And I didn't know this, but another thing, right? So I same thing with you. I haven't been around the locker room for it's been over a year. Weird, but right? People make fun of the way I talk in the ring. Apparently, there's this thing with people who have wrestled me before. this just came up, like, where they all like they get together, like, oh yes, you're working him. Oh, so you're gonna know, like, because I just I have a tendency to overly emphasize
For safety, right?
fine. Yeah. So that was the thing, but I don't know if we're revealing too many secrets, but it's one of those things where people make fun of me.
Dude, I think kayfabe was broken a long time ago. It's not going to be you.
No. Yeah. So that was that. But on a more.
Wait, may I interject on that
Please.
comment right there for 1 second? Mm-hmm. How many times have you said, something like duck the leapfrog, and you both bend over to duck and clash heads?
No, because I go.
So if you don't clarify,
we are going to do. Yeah, I'm like, we are now going to execute a leapfrog. You are going to be the one hitting the ropes and ducking, and I am going to jump over you. Yes. Are we okay on everything? Like, that's how it should be,
Clothesline.
Yeah.
I'm giving it. You're taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Please feed to the corner.
Yeah.
Give me a back elbow and then feed out, and I'm going to clothesline you. Yes. Wait for me to give you the Iggy. Thank you. You know what I mean? That's how you have to. Can't fuck around. Do.
I would say no one in America ever got rich overestimating the intelligence in this country.
Ain't that the truth?
Okay, so go on. I interrupted you. I apologize.
No, but I was going to say, so on a more like completely human level, and I'm going to say it, like I use the term mark quite a bit, and not for the fans, right? Fans are, in my opinion, they are what make the business goes around. There's some marks in the back. Okay, some people who that they're in the business just to get a free pass to go to wrestling shows and hang out in the locker room, and so I had a complete mark moment. I was a total mark. I admit it. I have never asked anyone I've wrestled either in the business or like celebrity. I've never asked a celebrity for a picture ever, from Hugh Jackman to Larry King. I just don't, not my thing. The only, yeah, but like the only person I ever cared enough to ask for was the Doctor of Style, Slick. And that's hanging up in my bedroom with the, Slick he's over. But then an inspiration. So like I have 3 inspirations and 2 of them are not with us anymore. So the one man I've never met is Austin Idol. And that's what Cornette, when I went to OVW, he gave me the Idol Stevens and like he kind of just introduced me to that. And he became like truly one of my inspirations. And I'd never met him before. And I had known him through Jocephus, because Jocephus used to edit the commercials and everything. And he would like reach out to different talent, like some past, some present. And obviously like he reaches out to Austin Idol. And he calls me, like Jocephus calls me, he's like, hey, Austin Idol, he really digs the karate stuff. And I went, like, what? Like Austin Idol watched me before? Like he knows who I am. Oh my God. Like I was such a child. And then further, he goes, no, like he likes your stuff and everything, and he's digging it. And then I just said, no, please pass along. Then I said, there have been 3 people who I've truly been inspired by in the industry. He's the only one that's still alive. And again, I've never met him before. So I get to the locker room on Sunday, and there's like 2 other people or something like that in there. But I look in the corner, and there is the universal heartthrob himself, the ladies' pet and the men's regret, Austin Idol. And I'm just like and again, you know me, April, right? Like I don't sell shit. Like it's just not in my nature. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, like that's great. If you know this guy really, like if there are any wrestling fans out there and you watch Austin Idol, everyone stole from him. Every single top guy. He invented hulking up. The hulking up.
He was Billy Graham, huh?
Oh, no. He was, yes, like just so far ahead of his time.
A female Japanese wrestler, huh?
Well, yeah, exactly. But I don't think so, because he actually got some credit. But
yeah.
But no, he invented hulking up. Yeah, like the hulk up was his idea. When you said Hulkamania was a ripoff of Idolmania. Like he came up with that. Idolmania, and then it was Hulkamania, and then it was WrestleMania. So there you go. But like from his hat that like Shawn Michaels kind of copied the design from, to just, this guy is the OG, and I don't sell anyone, but like, oh no, like this is the dude. And I know I'm being very over dramatic here, but it's the truth.
To our normal, to our NT fans, selling, define selling. We have certain terms in wrestling. I just did one. Bang bang is a shoot. That means we're telling the truth. Selling means react or put somebody over. Oh geez, I just used a term for a term.
No, but reacting to somebody. If you were to see your favorite movie star,
terms for terms. Help me.
Exactly. Like, yeah, if you were to see your favorite movie star, the reaction you would have to them, like, oh my god, or your favorite celebrity, or like that's what it is.
Fangirl, fanboy.
Perfect. Fangirl, fanboy. There you go.
Comic on term, but people understand that one.
Perfect. It works. So this was me, and I'm just like, oh my god. And he came up to me, and it didn't introduce himself, like didn't have to, like just came up to me, shook my hand. He goes, hey, I want you to know how much you meant to Jocephus. So like to deliver that, like that's the first thing that my hero ever said to me. And it was just like, it was a really, really crazy experience. And then, he was the commentator for my match with Nick. And it was very strange because I hadn't had to wrestle like that in probably 5 years. And I had 3 weeks to train for it, which I got in a ring, I think once, and took 2 bumps, like I was just like, well, at this point it's either going to happen or it's not.
And how are you feeling now?
So it was just like, get out there and do it and whatever. And I was happy that it came off the way it did. And then Austin Idol finds me after, he goes, hey, who trained you? And I said, Kowalski originally, but then Rip broke me in. He goes, yeah, well, I broke him in. He goes, you know what you're doing out there. And he like kind of made the illusion of like, yeah, you're full time. You just don't know it. And because when I left the industry, like NWA was kind of fun and I was doing the karate thing, but like having him say that to me, it kind of woke something up in me that I was like, okay, if he thinks I'm good enough, I'm going to do it. So it really was a
validation, right?
Yeah.
It's also a measuring stick because you, as an artist and a performer, you never really know where you are, what your worth is, or where you stand, and people don't always. Yeah, you just don't know. And when somebody who's been there and done that and been around and knows stuff says to you,
Yeah, and especially because like he doesn't have to be that at all. He was the guy who like in the territory days when you would have to like if you had, let's say you're living in Florida and you want to go work the Carolinas. For our non-wrestling fans, that's like you have to move somewhere for a job. And that's everyone moved in the city that was like the main city they were living in. Well, Austin Idol was like, no, you're going to fly me in. And this is in the 70s when you just simply didn't do that. Like, you're going to fly me in on Monday. You're going to fly me out on Thursday. And then you're going to do the house shows without me. Like, that's OG.
This is also when flying was awesome. The stewardesses, they were called stewardesses, were hot and they served steak. So, and the seats were the right size. They gave you hot towels for your face. Of course, he's going to fly.
Yeah. So he did that. Like he always did what he thought was right, and he stood up for himself. And I always like that combined with how talented he was. And he never like sold out to the business, which was I thought really cool.
Yeah.
So.
That alone is
yeah, and he's just I don't know, it was good for me. So now I'm let's put it this way, I'm really entertaining now, like another couple years of full-time wrestling. So I'm saying that I'm not sure if there's any fans out there, but that's where the direction of my life is going. Yeah. So
Winona says the match with Aldis was the first in a long time I was yelling at the TV the entire match.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah,
I had a lot of tweets that your fans or our mutual fans were saying to me. They're like, your podcast partner is killing it tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you.
People liked that match. They were into it. They were in the show. You know?
It's such a unique product. I mean, it really is like everyone like, oh, well, wrestling's missing this and wrestling's missing that. And fans do notice this and they point it out, right? Like, and it's nothing against what's on TV, right? I love cool moves. Acrobatics are amazing to watch. And I think acrobatics, when combined with a good story being told by characters you care about, is an amazing thing. It doesn't get any better than that. But I think that, like, the storytelling and the characters are just missing. And with NWA, like, the way our product is presented, it's like, and we were jokingly saying, but it's true, like, it's wrestling. It's not, trying to be something else. No, like, we are. I didn't say it. I almost dropped an F-bomb, but I didn't. But no, we are professional wrestling. Like, that's what
I'll drop
we do.
the F-bombs for you. I'm okay with it.
Right.
But you guys are. You have your niche, and your niche is old school storytelling with psychology, where you build up characters that people love or love to hate. People who are trying to win or trying not to lose. And fans give a shit about it. And it's nice to see that. It's a good product.
I think that's why. I mean, the show's been such a critical success in a short time, and in a very short time. Like, we did three tapings, 3 seasons of whatever before the pandemic, and it was just like we didn't hear any negative comments. It was older people, it was younger people, people in the middle that are like, this is what I grew up watching. Like, this is, and then the young people are like, wow, this is really cool. It's like they never really got a chance to see that. So, and it is such a team effort there. And it starts at the top with Billy. Pat Keeney is absolutely amazing.
For people who don't know, Billy Corgan owns this promotion, and that is not a second Billy Corgan. That is the Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we have to remember, we have people watching who don't follow wrestling.
That's right.
That's right. The guy from Smashing Pumpkins owns this promotion and has taken it to a pretty cool level.
Yeah.
While still keeping it at a level where it's not, it's still able to be creative enough and not accountable to public shareholders.
Yes. And that's the thing. So, like, that. Yes. And that's why,
private. You guys can do what you want.
Yes. That creative integrity, as we call it. And, I can just so see the show on a network at some point, wherever that network is, whatever. But, excuse me. By the way, every time it coughs, it feels like someone's stabbing me in the side. Not
I just automatically say COVID when people cough, because you're just not allowed to cough at all, ever.
Oh, I know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So to people who would want to watch this, where do they find it? What's it called?
Fight TV. You can go to Fight TV. Fight TV. It's a streaming service, and you can get it on your phone. You can get it on a smart TV. YouTube. You can always go there and, like, catch some. I think there's some, like, clips of what goes on at the NWA YouTube, and just follow them on Twitter and Instagram, and then they'll direct you to everything you need too.
Yes, so NWA Power, POWER.
Yes. Well, I'll give you their Twitter right now. And yeah, so it's great, and it felt great to be back. And as you know, April, like, we've both been in locker rooms, and sometimes, man, if you get just one bad apple, it does spoil the whole bunch. Let alone 2 or 3. But when you get everyone in there cool, it's a great thing. Yeah. NWA. It's at NWA. Easy enough.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And I know from talking to you, like, every day for the past, I don't know how long, that you were completely, it's hard to be in the entertainment business sometimes, and it's been really difficult with losing a lot of our bookings and stuff. And I know that you got your batteries recharged from this weekend, and you felt not just validated, but also restored from being around your friends. I feel like you got the love for the business back again. And I think a lot of fans would really appreciate seeing you in the ring again on a full time or a bigger role in wrestling.
Well, the bottom line is this: when the ladies' pet and the men's regret, the universal heartthrob tells you something. I mean, how you can argue with that? You know, like
yeah,
that's one of those things where even if you're not a wrestling fan, I think you get what I just said. Like this is he is the equivalent to, in my opinion, the Beatles in the sense of stylistically, the biggest draws in wrestling have copied him, ripped him off, whatever. But he's a extremely influential human being. So, and for those of you that are fans, I don't have to say this, but that's all. When he tells you to do something, you do it.
He's the daddy.
Yeah,
he's the daddy of wrestling. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. I'm really glad that I'm glad for both of us that we got out there and saw things and did things. It was a pretty exciting change of events and it was nice to get out there. So, you know, even if you have a broken rib and, you know, for you know, should I switch topics or do you have more to?
No, that's it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was it. But I agree. I agree with both of us being out there and just kind of getting out there. It's a sign that things are starting to turn around. But we should also, again, remember to be safe. Not everyone's vaccinated yet. You know, and again, this is not a vax statement. But like, you know, we still have some road to hoe, as they say. So we're doing okay. Things are like, let's just keep it moving in this direction. Let's keep up the positive momentum. What's that?
You call me a hoe?
No.
I'm sorry. I have low self-esteem.
No, I called the row. I said to row a hoe. Okay. Or no, we have to hoe. That's a row to hoe. Yeah, like you have to, like when you're in a garden and you're actually, yeah.
Wonder where the origin of that saying came from.
Yeah, because like of all garden tools, why would you pick that? You know,
I like the you reap what you sow. I don't know where we're going with this. Anyway, so I took my booking because I have, you know, Aaron's got a broken rib and I have a broken heart. I didn't want to bring this up on the last one, but my dog died, and a lot of people are familiar with my corgi Bella. And because she was a corgi cosplayer and we did a lot of stuff together, and it has just been difficult because I didn't realize how embroiled all of my habits are with her or were with her. So it's taken me about 2 weeks to sort this out. And she had something called degenerative myelopathy, which is pretty common, unfortunately, in German Shepherds and corgis and certain breeds. And she had her life cut about in half, unfortunately, because she started showing signs at 8, and corgis live to be about 16-ish. And this is something that people should know because there's a corgi mania out there. There's a corgi craze. And people don't always know everything they should know about corgis. And this is a very common thing. It is a very expensive thing. It's a very heartbreaking thing to deal with. So if you're going to pay all that money for one, which I got mine, Bella was my second corgi. Both of them died from very heartbreaking, rare diseases, or not so rare for their breed. And because Cosmo died at 11 from a rare form of cancer. Bella died at 11 and a half from degenerative myelopathy. And this is something that if you're going to get this breed of dog, you need to do the research and make sure it's for you. And you have to make sure your breeder has had a DM genetic test and it comes back positive, and positive on both ends. You can be negative. You have to be negative for carrier and a developer. And I got Bella so long ago that test was not available. And she came back. I posted about her starting to scrape her foot at age 8, and my vets didn't pick it up. And one of the people on my Facebook said, have her tested. And she came back as a double positive. And so from there, you know, I was able to catch it early. The CBD oil And somebody suggested I do a GoFundMe, and the fans have been amazing with that. And I was able to put her in aqua therapy. And, I am very, very grateful to everybody who pitched in and helped, because catching it early is why she lived as long and lived a quality life. So we did, water treadmill and different forms of therapy. I think the water treadmill worked the best. And just different things that kept her out of pain and kept her going. And she did pretty well, and she lived a lot longer than they said. They give you about 6 months to a year with it, and she survived. But I live alone, and I work from home, and everything that I do, she's always been there. So, when we're doing the podcast, she's, right here sitting with me. And even working out, when it's time to work out, she goes into the back room and we work out together. So it's weird, to have to clean off my own plate, and I get to eat all my toast instead of throwing her the last piece, and not feel her butt to butt when, in bed together, and she's got her own space and things like that. So I remember the first week, I'd fall asleep on the couch watching something and wake up at like 2, 3 in the morning and just go outside for a walk. So I'm used to taking her for a walk, and I just traipse around the neighborhood a little bit. So breaking my routine has been good. And then a week after that happened, my boyfriend and I broke up. So I was with him for the better part of the year, and he initiated that. So it kind of exacerbated the situation. So it has been rough on me. And if I haven't gotten back to messages and things like that, is why. I have a tendency to, what's the word I'm looking for? Self-preservation, or shut down when too much goes on. And reserve energy. And I'm an introvert, and anytime I deal with people, that to me is sometimes energy draining. And I don't mean anyone specific. I just mean any like emails and conversation and things like that, where I have to force it even if I don't feel like it. And if I'm tired or just not feeling it, I can find myself in an email or work situation where I say yes just to say yes, or no just to say no. And I could take a work offer or turn one down that I have to backpedal out of later. So I just find that avoiding the entire thing altogether is my coping technique, along with, some vodka. So it's maybe not the best coping technique, but it's worked before. So that's where I am right now. So that has been going on. And that's why I've been a little bit reticent and slow. So it is what it is. So we break, we heal, we get a scar from it, but we're stronger than before. It is, that's how it is. But no, I'm not getting another dog.
Well, you know what?
I'm not getting another boyfriend either.
Well, no, you know what? And we've talked, and it's been, it's heartbreaking. When one of those things happen, but like, let alone again, two, major life shifters, really. And it's funny. They say, when it rains, it pours. And, sometimes like that was an understatement, obviously, to everything that you've gone through recently, but you also, and it was kind of cool being your friend, knowing how self-aware you are, how you knew, like, you were reacting to your feelings. You were not a victim to, because you were just simply aware of your feeling. You were like, I'm feeling like this, and this is why. That's huge. That's huge, because sometimes, like, we get so caught up in things, like, we can't remove ourselves. And and it's funny, you made the vodka joke. Well, look, some people, they can't use alcohol to cope with things, because ultimately, with your alcohol, right? Like, let's say it is, right? You go down a path and you can't come back from that path. So that's going to lead to a worse quality of life than what you currently have. Now, there are others who sometimes, you just need a drink to get you through, like temperance, right? That's the key word. And like, sometimes, hey, you need to get to blow off some steam, but like, the point is, alcohol has not overtaken your life. Like, you don't wake up and, because that's one of those things that you can exercise temperance, which is a cardinal virtue, by the way. Just write that down.
I don't think I have the addictive gene unless it's,
Yeah.
Ben and Jerry's. So,
Mhm.
which
So
that I try to stay away from.
Okay.
So it's funny in our business, drugs and alcohol are okay, but food is not. So
Oh yeah, you're right. Wow.
no, it is like drugs and alcohol. That's like normal. It's like we turn to drugs and alcohol. That's kind of normal. Oh, Ben and Jerry's. What? Fast food?
Oh, yeah. Shame.
Bad. Shame
Shame.
on you.
Shame.
We have a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody much smarter than I am said there's no such thing as bad emotions. There are just bad reactions to those emotions. So just trying to sort through it. And I also have to say thank you to you for picking me up off the floor quite a few times over the past couple of weeks. So
that happens.
Especially
it's just,
over
we all go through. Yeah, we all
winter.
go through stuff. I mean that.
Yes.
But
yeah.
No, I mean it's funny. Like we joke, oh, life's about an ebb and flow. Well, sometimes it'd be nice if there was a little more flow and a little less ebb. But no, I truly believe that tests like this, when we receive these challenges, these what are perceived to be setbacks, that ultimately we can use them for good. And sometimes when you're in the thick of it, and you can smile in the midst of the thick of it and be, you know what, this really sucks. Yep, this absolutely is not cool. Just being that aware. At some level, that you're going to come through it because you always have, right? Like at some level, like, okay, like right now I'm feeling just like garbage, but this too shall pass. Like these are things that I've overcome before.
That's my motto. This too shall pass.
Yeah. And that's okay. That's completely okay. Sometimes it's just that like a lot of people ask, well, you take it one day at a time, 1 hour, and 1 minute if you have to. Who cares?
So this all inspired something that I wrote with relationship advice. You know how we go into that every once in a while. And I don't know if we have some time to read this. I can hear your phone going off.
No, I was shutting it down actually, because I realized like it was live. I was like, oh no, God, sorry. I apologize to everyone.
That's okay. I'm just teasing you.
His
phone's blown up since he's become a superstar on NWA.
Yeah, it's because of the A show.
I know. Or this. Got multiple irons in the fire. But I thought I would. I was thinking about it. I actually wrote this topic down for our show, and I thought I would write it as a blog first to get feedback on it, and I have gotten some interesting feedback. So I thought I might read it and see what people think. So it's called Love or Fear and Sabotaging. After much observation and conversing with others, I've come to the generalized conclusion that people in and around my age group are more afraid that a relationship will work than won't. At our age, we've worked hard for what we have: property, retirement benefits, stuff. Everyone has stuff, and God forbid a relationship works out, because that means change. And that we are not okay with. Change is scary. It means upending everything. It means expectations, what ifs. It means overthinking. Phase 1 of self-sabotage commencing. So we sabotage our connections to ensure that they absolutely will not work. And we cling to our material comforts, our houses, our cars, our 401ks, our careers, and our vices, our habits, our routines, our toys. And most of all, and that way nothing gets displaced. And most of all, we don't get displaced. We stay safe, and we stay alone under the illusion of controlling our lives. And we wonder, what the fuck happened? And if it's us, no, it must be them, isn't it? We're all trapped at this age, we're all trapped between our parents and our kids. Something is always going to go wrong. That will never end until the parents die and the kids grow up. But these issues are used to drive a wedge, to abandon, to jump ship, and because of fear. When we were in our 20s, we had nothing to lose. We moved across the country. We took that insanely cool job that probably wouldn't work out, but it did. We met that person and we were all in, and we leaped without a net. Now we have shit, and shit holds us down and it holds us back. Fear is the killer of all dreams. We're afraid to lose control. We're afraid of change. So we cling to our material comforts, thus perpetuating the very self-fulfilling prophecy we're afraid of. We will be alone. And we move on to the next person, full of hopes and dreams and fear and sabotage. and we don't get fulfilled, and we don't understand, and we don't learn. By the way, this is also why we stay with someone we don't really respect, like, or love anymore. Or worse, they have no respect or love for us. Same thing, fear, being afraid to lose our shit, hating change. By shit, I mean material shit. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but you can be with someone and still be very much alone. It's actually worse that way. There are also the people who say, and this is mostly guys more than girls, but there are the people who say they really want someone with their shit together, but they don't. When they meet someone who is independent and can adult well, they somehow don't feel manly, this is for guys, or desired, women. This is some messed up personality stuff going on that has nothing to do with you and has likely been a repeated life pattern forever. It's them. They want to be the fixer, to feel needed. They have the savior or the broken bird syndrome. And unless someone is going up in flames from red flags and they're charging like a bull, they just aren't all that interested. And then it's always them. How do I know this? I've had the luxury of being both sides. I am bipolar and used to be unmedicated. And when I was off my meds, every guy was lined up around the earth to save me. I was always in a stable relationship, and I was incredibly unstable. Once I got stabilized and became independent and got my shit together, men got really fucking weird about it. And I basically looked the same as I did years ago. And that's a whole nother blog. Do you want proof that I'm correct about being afraid of relationships will work out? Look at how deeply connected you are with your close friends. We don't sabotage those true connections because we don't fear that we'll turn our lives inside out. Friendships equal no expectations. Do you really want a relationship, or do we just want our needs met? There is a difference. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. You get one shot at this. So many of us need to live instead of merely existing. The opposite of love is not hate, it's fear. So that's my revelation from all this. Thank you. Golf clap.
No, that was wow, April.
And I could be, like I said, I had a situation this weekend where I had a med situation. Speaking of meds, I went on vacation. My friends took me away. My friends are amazing. We went over to the other coast for a beach vacation, and being out of routine, and I was also my bedroom was dark. I got up, took my meds, went out to have breakfast, came back to my bedroom, took my supplements, and then realized I doubled up on my medications and freaked out, and then called the pharmacist, who rattled off a lot of side effects that scared the shit out of me. She said to call my doctor, who was on call. My doctor freaked me out as well. Apparently, I needed to be watched for stroke and Lamictal rash and seizures. And I didn't realize taking double your meds is way worse than skipping your meds. So then the next day I had to skip. So I have been a bit on a roller coaster. Today is the first day I feel okay. I had to induce vomiting twice, and it was a mess. I almost ruined my friend's vacation on Saturday, and they were amazing. They stuck by me to watch over me. But in my ups and downs, I ended up writing that because, again, there are no bad emotions. There are just bad reactions to emotions, and I'm trying to write instead of be stupid. So that was my epiphany during all of that.
Wow. Well, again, even out of something not good, like what happened with your medication, you had that insight, and I think you sharing that, and I mean, that's something I'll repost, whatever there were more points in that than in a pincushion. You touched on a lot, and I think it's definitely far beneath the surface. And I think, again, it's a blessing for you to have those revelations. It's a blessing for you to be able to put it down and to kind of, create that piece so that other people can examine their own selves, their own lives, and see if they're doing it, because there are so many great points to that. I mean, like the whole issue of not wanting to give up what you have, yet in your 20s, because it was why it was socially acceptable in your 20s, and now you're not supposed to. Yeah,
20s.
Yeah.
Like now, I think about that. Like, I'll admit it. I'm fairly fearless, as you know. But when I have a relationship work out, my first thought is, well, fuck, if I have to, how does it work out with my house? Like, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, you start thinking about all the stuff that you've worked really hard for, and this is just material shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was it? Was it Dolly? Or not Dolly, I'm sorry. My brain, like I said, the meds. Again, I'll just say that somebody smarter than I am said that our values are misplaced because we use people and love things.
Yeah.
And loving people and using things.
Yeah.
And this is how we are. And that's exactly where we go to with all of this.
Yeah.
We find security in our shit, which could go up in flames in 2 seconds. I mean, realistically.
Yeah, especially in California.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've seen it happen.
Underwater in Florida. So
yep, I've seen it happen. It was
California
yeah.
in particular should value people more than their shit, honestly.
No, agreed.
So,
absolutely agreed. But then, we have we did get into that a little bit, I think, at one of the past shows about corporations and everything like that. But I still second that motion.
So there's that.
Statement. Sorry.
That was my thing. So moving on.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Seriously, thank you for sharing it, because that's brave. That you talk about outside your comfort zone. That was definitely, that wasn't the easiest thing in the world for you to share, and I could tell, like, as you were reading it, but you got through it flawlessly. And again, thank you. Like, that's what the show is about. Like, sometimes we'll laugh and joke for an hour, and sometimes it gets a little deeper than that, and I think that's wonderful. And no, but that was very brave of you. And do you feel better for sharing that publicly?
I don't know.
Oh, right.
Every time I write something that is, what's the word I'm looking for, poignant to me, I worry that it will come back in the ass.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't see any ways that could ever come back to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, you never know.
Openly, honestly shared, and that's pretty cool, because you know what? If one person benefits from that, then what a great thing.
Well, thank you very much. Let me. Somebody asked me. We'll just change gears for a second. And somebody posted, "Why is there not a coffee fast lane at Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks? Like, why is there not a lane for people who have their shit together? For people who just want a coffee with some real tit milk." There's nothing more fun than standing behind somebody who can't figure out what kind of fancy nut milk latte they want. So, I mean, I think our producer Colin was talking about this earlier too. It's like,
you're talking about a basic coffee, like
just basic. Give me a cappuccino. That's it. Give me a coffee. Why have they not done this? You just want get in and get out and get on your way.
People would abuse it. I mean, let's face it. I think the nature of people.
Items or less.
Like, all right, like. You would have to have standards, right? Like, absolutely no variations of anything. Like, all right, medium coffee, cream and sugar, right?
Well,
like, that's
why not a cappuccino? It's the same thing.
Yes, like something like that. Cappuccino, just regular cappuccino. Boom.
Sure. Coffee, cappuccino. Anything else, fuck off.
What about muffins and things like that? Like, can people say?
No, you can have a muffin in the fine.
So, so then it's just coffee. There's no other BS, but then. What about the people that like, oh, that line's shorter? Haha, watch me. Yes, could I have a cappuccino? Please?
Say coffee only. Yeah. And like if you go in that lane, they refuse to ring you up. Like, no, you can't be in that lane if you're getting anything else. No. We
have to have an enforcer though. There would have to be some like a security guard or someone, with some kind of authority to be like, no, dude, get out. No, you go and you drive around the store and you get in the other lane, and then you can have your muffin.
No coffee for you.
Yeah. You have to have someone like that. Unfortunately, there has to be, if you want that extra shot of espresso in your cappuccino. I'm not a coffee guy, so I don't even know if that's a thing.
You can have the extra shot, but that's it.
Oh, so that's just a coffee lane, and that's.
Yeah, that's you can have the extra shot in the latte or the espresso if it's caffeine oriented and it's basic. really super basic. You can have it. Nothing past that. We have a job situation in this country. Hire people for this, please, for the love of Christ.
Yeah.
Please bring people in to be coffee Nazis. Please. I see a lot of growth potential in this right here.
And
benefits. Health insurance.
I mean, I don't see the real. Again, I'm not a coffee guy. I had maybe 5 sips of coffee my whole life, maybe, and that's a very general, like over exaggerated.
Coffee and tea line. You can get a chai tea or whatever too.
Yeah. So that's just.
I don't want to be a beverage racist.
Well, that would be a beveragist, right? Because there's no race in beverages. There's just
a beverage segregist.
a beveragist or whatever. Sure. No, there's a lot to be thought about. I mean, like if it would cut some time in half if you could just, hey, boom, I'll have this. Thank you. I mean, just keep going. You know, would that hurt the muffin industry though? We need to think about this.
Industry. Well, Colin, are you there? What's your opinion on this?
I am here. I've got my camera on. Let's say,
gorgeous, Colin.
I think that you should have a special lane. I think, as we were talking about before the show, the Chick-fil-A that I go to, they used to have where you could place your order online and then pull in and skip the line and just go park in one of the sections, and they'd bring it out to you. Now they have 3 lines that everyone goes into. And so if I've ordered online, I still have to get in the drive-through line, and they'll come to my car and bring me my food, but I'm still stuck in the drive-through line, even though I've gotten my food. Like the inconvenience for me now is way worse than what it used to be in the past, where I could just pull up and have them bring it out to me. I mean, it's as we kind of said before the show, it's a huge cluster F. We're not gonna try to cuss here on Twitch and drop the F-bomb.
Oh, we can't cuss? I have screwed that up. I'll
you probably can. It's okay. I think as long as you don't have a long string of curse words, you're okay. But that was me at Chick-fil-A.
You know, they are making money hand over fist, because everywhere you go, from California to Carolina, you know, there is a line outside Chick-fil-A. And why is that? Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out, like, they just have giant lines all the time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, like we Americans are not good at efficiency. We are not. For a Germanic people, we lost something along the way. So we need to go back to our Germanic roots. Like, seriously, we should have some Germans come over and teach us how to do things better, like on time, like the Autobahn. Like, our driving sucks and we have a lot of accidents. We need to Autobahn this place up. We need to find more efficient lines and ways of doing things. And the people who need to teach us are Germans. Was ist das für einen Scheiße? Seriously.
So you think just for bringing efficiency to society back? Because, like, if it was watchmaking, I would go with the Swiss.
That's fine. But yes, efficiency. There are no better people to be efficient than the Germans. This is freaking fact.
It's funny that you say that about the Autobahn. Do you know what I heard? Why they make roads that are windy? So you don't get hypnotized driving, because you can easily just be driving along and then you get hypnotized and then you just crash. And so I guess possibly that the reason that there's little dips and things is because they want to just keep people alert and know what they're doing, which I don't know. Again, I heard it, but it was from a source that I don't know, and I can't say they were reliable or not. So
it could be, or it could just make driving 140 miles per hour a whole lot more fun.
True. Well, you have that big bridge in Tampa that everyone would like, oh God, I'd stay away from that at night, because there were always people that would get on. Which there.
One? The Bayside Butcher Bridge?
The Courtney Campbell? Yeah.
I love that bridge.
Thing. Oh my God. That's what, 10 miles?
I don't know, but I live right off of that, actually.
God, it's I mean, I remember I got lost once in Tampa, and I ended up on that bridge, and I'm like going, oh my God, this is the longest bridge I've ever been on in my life. Like, the thing just went on, and you get on this bridge, and it's like being on the Autobahn, because you can't see the other side. I mean, there is there's just bridge. Like you're not sure if there is another side. Yeah. Like you're like, this thing past what I can see could just drop off and I could end up in the ocean. But it was pretty crazy. And then but what a gorgeous drive.
It really is, with the water on both sides.
Oh God, yeah. What a gorgeous drive.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
True. Yes, Japanese. As you've been to Japan, whereas I haven't. I heard for efficiency, like they're
right.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I always wanted to go there, and like it's so funny, like different cultures and different countries, just how it truly is amazing. Like that's one of the things that I love is just to like getting out just to different countries. I miss about traveling. To go there and just immerse yourself, like get lost in the streets, and just kind of go and try the local food, and it's so good, so good.
That was one of my favorite things in the world to do. Like when I would go on tours, I would always ask to come in a day or two early and stay a day or two late, and they're always shocked because apparently people like to get in and get out so fast. And I'm like, oh no, I want some time to stay there, walk around, and get lost, and see things, talk to people.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's a cool thing.
So I was supposed to do
really cool thing.
Yeah, it is. I was supposed to do the Beautiful People podcast on Monday, and thanks to the story I mentioned earlier with the induced vomiting, my I had a lot of blood vessels break, and I just felt like I was not the prettiest. I finally took enough Benadryl that things went down, so I'm supposed to do that next Monday. So if you guys watch, it's another Hemi Media Group podcast, really great. Velvet Sky and Angelina, and so I'll be hanging out with them on Monday and doing ours on Tuesday. And I think Colin, do we have anything we have to answer this week or talk to the peeps?
We do have a couple of comments on the shows. I'm going to start with episode 6 from WW Front Row. Loving the conversation on the latest episode, and that was our spring cleaning episode. I'm an ordained deacon, but left the church years ago. So hearing a rational discussion around religion and perspective is fascinating to me. Thanks, guys.
No,
wow,
thanks.
That was from a former deacon, so we're on to something.
Yeah, Aron is like basically a religious scholar. Like
No, I'm not. I just
you are. You don't sell yourself short. There's is extremely well educated in pretty much almost, I'm going to say most of the religions to some degree.
The big ones, like,
and some of the small ones too. So I mean, I'm just fascinated. Like that's like kind of what I read and stuff on my off time. Like I've always been just really intrigued and fascinated about the spiritual truths and the means with which that they are communicated to the human race by. Yeah, I have as well. That's one of the things we have in common. But I find that as much as I know, you're like way far advanced.
I've just had a lot of weird people come into my life. That's all I've had. A lot, yeah.
20-year minister who is not in church, and I love that episode from Jay Reezy Min. Oh yay! Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Wow, that's cool. Yeah.
We appreciate that. Well, you know what? Sometimes we're afraid. Well, not afraid. God, what's the word I'm looking for? We're cautious to talk about certain things too much, like religion and race, because we don't. How do I put? What am I looking to say here?
No, there's a lot of very sensitive people, and genuinely, it's like again, you're not going to have any like objective moral truths be questioned here. That all men and women are created equal, entitled to the same rights. Like that, racism is wrong, prejudice is wrong. Like that stuff, we're not debating. It's just not even in the conversation. But we do get into it, and we like to talk back and forth honestly. And sometimes, like I feel like that as a society, we're getting to the point where people can be offended by that. And that's just genuinely, I don't think either of us want to offend anyone, but at the same time, we're not going to have a discussion unless we can have an open and honest discussion. So that was like our reasoning for just not wanting to do too much on that area.
Yeah, and I think I speak for us both when I say that the point of doing this podcast originally, well, we had 2 points. Well, 3, if I'm honest. One of them was, we lost all our bookings and wanted to get back out there to some degree. That was our selfish point. But while we were doing that, our second point was to try and bring some positivity and light to the internet, because all we were seeing was dark. And the third was we're moderate voices in pretty much all things. And we felt that moderate voices and having rational conversations about things that people were getting upset and offended about needed to be done, still need to be done. So we really appreciate the feedback on this stuff. We appreciate the suggestions for more topics, and we appreciate you guys appreciating us and hanging and watching us and supporting us on Patreon very, very much. And for those of you listening, like on Podbean and stuff, you can actually watch us on Patreon and support us, and we do appreciate that. So thanks.
Now, I do have 2 more. We posted episode 7 as well, and we've got two comments on that episode as well. Now, episode 7 was the cosplay Ren Fair episode that we had. That was a lot of fun. Our first comment comes from Doug Gay. Lots of great topics, like Fred mentioned, about overcoming burnout, also government waste, obscenely too much, way too many rich politicians as well. Also, Congress is in session for about 187 days per year. I would have loved that schedule when I worked full time and making a hell of a lot less per year. Also, April, I like your comment about Spinal Tap for vampires.
Thank you very, very much. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, Congress will have to be a whole separate episode probably. I don't understand. If you are unhappy with Congress, vote them out. Please, for the love of Christ, vote them out. And we have to make our collective voices heard for term limits. Okay, there is. We need term limits. Okay, this is ridiculous. The amount. I mean, come on, Mitch McConnell, give me a freaking break. Like this is these people are lifers. They are not common people. We are governed by people who are not common people. They don't use our healthcare. They are not using our schools. They are not doing anything that we relate to. They're not in our unions. They are not our teachers. They don't understand our lives, yet they make our decisions and our rules and our laws, and they piggyback crap in on their own special interests, and they do it all for us, not living our lives based on a bottom line only to further their own career and political interests rather than what's best for the people, because they don't know what's best for the people, because they don't care, because they don't live by our rules. And they themselves live by a socialized and upper, these are rich people. They have never, almost all of them have never dealt with anything we deal with. So why, we the people, why are we allowing them to make our life rules and our life decisions that we have to abide by? We go to jail if we break, because they've made these rules that we have to keep to, and they don't even know what. I mean, they're everybody likes the idea. All these politicians love the idea of abortion until their own kid gets knocked up. I'll tell you what. You live in Alabama and you're a politician, and your daughter gets pregnant at age 15 because she ran off and on spring break and got knocked up. I guarantee you will get her to an abortion clinic, because she's not going to have a baby at 15. She's going to university, and she'll be going to a good one too. You like the idea of making everybody else not have change. You like the idea of making women subservient and have to carry a child, whether or not they want to, whether they've been raped, whether they're 12 years old, whether their uncle has fucked them. Sorry, I'm being blunt. But when it's your kid and you're a politician, you're the governor. Was it Governor Kay? You want to roll back all abortion across the board? When your kid gets pregnant, I guarantee you'll be going up to Pennsylvania to get her taken care of. Why do we vote for these people? Vote them out. And personally, I'm not saying pro-life or pro-choice right here. Me personally, believe it or not, I'm pro-life. But I had mothers, stepmom, mom, grandmothers who marched for the right to choice. I would never take that away from somebody else. Never. If you don't believe in it, don't do it. So, and the religious the religious coalition in 1971 pushed Roe versus Wade through. That was Catholics, Jews, Protestants. They all got together because 1 in 6 pregnancies ended in death, because that's how many young girls were dying trying to self-abort from septicemia. And anybody who actually gets educated and knows the story on this, they know that it was the religious coalition that bonded together to make choice possible. Getting off of choice for a minute, all I'm saying is, with Congress, if you're not happy, we'll vote them out, push for term limits. I don't think any of us are happy, no matter what side of the fence you're on. Or you're in the middle like us.
Yeah.
So thank you, Doug. I appreciate it. Sorry about the rant.
No, it's okay. When our last, a little levity here to end this segment of the show. Our last comment is from Chris Porter. Hey, unless you forgot, April O'Neil, George Carlin said the same thing during one of his shows about the ending of the world. I believe it went like, the planet's not going anywhere. It's us that are leaving. Pack your shit, folks. We're going away. Ah, George Carlin, you are missed, man. You are missed.
Yeah, thanks, War Demon. He's right. We need to change the narrative. We're not, we don't have to save the planet. We have to save ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, like,
look at
we're dependent on the earth.
Yeah, in 2021, just this year, just these few months, we have a mass die-off of manatees because of pollution in our waters here in Florida. They're creating an algae that is killing off the food for the manatees. We have so many manatees dying right now. It is so sad. We're killing our marine life. And no one's paying attention to this. No one's paying attention to this. We had the hottest summer on record last year, on record. Some of the coldest winters, some of the worst storms going on. We had a hurricane like in the winter here. Like, what is going on? Dallas froze. Dallas. I mean, when you're freezing in Texas, like, are people not paying attention to what's happening here?
Yeah.
Are we still in denial that we are losing? What kind of bankruptcy are we going to go through before we die and the planet just purges us? We just went through a virus, okay? We're still going through it. This is a purge. The earth is trying to get rid of us. We are the virus. We are the problem. Are we still in denial of this? Because the earth is going to survive. In the end, nature wins. We're going to die.
Yes.
We're going to die. And until we change that narrative of save the earth, which people don't give a shit about, to save ourselves, which we do care about, we're not.
Yeah, and to save ourselves, we need to live in harmony with nature and be grateful for all nature provides. And what an egocentric way of like, the world's going to end. Like, we're not going to have a place to live, huh? Like, no. Like, I agree with George on that one. We're going to be the ones that end. Yeah, if we don't really start. I mean, it's common sense. If you don't have a planet to live on, you have nothing. And we were talking, right? Like, you're in Florida. I'm out here on the West Coast. There's so many beautiful, beautiful places. And then all the beautiful places in between, from the deserts of Arizona. Look, give me an Indiana sunset any day of the week. And I say that living in Malibu, but like that giant skyline and just amazing. Springtime in Kentucky, how when everything just blossoms, like so many great. And that's just here in the United States. I mean, there's some gorgeous places overseas. Let's take care of our planet. Let's just make sure that, we're on the right side of the fence. And hopefully, I mean, it's slow, but more and more people are becoming aware, which I think is a great thing.
No, we need to do something radical. Slow is not good enough right now. So we can talk about some of that on the next episode.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
We have kind of run out of time. I wanted to wish everybody a happy Easter and a happy Passover. And
yes, happy Easter, happy Passover.
And say thank you to our patrons for supporting us on patreon.com, the A Show, and saying hi to us on Twitter. You can find Aaron's Thoughts on Twitter. I am April Hunter on Twitter, and our collective is _ the A Show. And thank you for joining us live on Twitch and hearing us on Podbean today. So we look forward to hearing your feedback and reading your feedback, actually from Colin, hearing your feedback and hearing your suggestions and seeing what you have to say to us. So thanks, you guys, and see you on the next one.
If you like the show, tell a friend. If you don't, tell an enemy.
Yeah.
Had to say it.
Do it.